Hello, beautiful. Natasha here. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I got my notes. Anyway, we are talking about dating over 50. And every time I turn on the internet or I look, I just see something and it's just a total catastrophe. Everybody's talking about how hard it is, how terrible it is. Well, I am here to give everybody hope because to me, this is the best time I've ever been dating. I think a lot of us forget that how terrible dating in our 20s was, how horrible dating in our 30s was. And hey, if we had done such a good job at it, if our expectations had been so high and so good and correct, we probably would not be here in our 50s trying to date again. I know, some of us have been through, including myself, that you had met the love of your life in your 20s, and then later on in life when you were with them, they passed. And that happened to me. But I can even say, if I had met the love of my life, if I had met him when I was 51, instead of meeting him at 21, I would have ran, right? I would have ran out that nightclub and never gone back again. So, first thing I am going to say, and I know a lot of you are going to hate to hear this, but let's not be on dating apps. I don't really think that they are for us because we are, back in our day, we were out. In order to meet somebody, you had to have swag, you had to have your little cute outfit on. It was a lot about personality and it was a lot about vibes. And the internet and the apps, I feel like it's a lot of fakes. It's a lot of people that aren't who they are because they just can curate an image. And what messes it up is somebody who knows how to curate an image better on the internet and better on an app may not necessarily be that great of a person. And then somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, doesn't know how to take a good photo, they could be a great person and you could vibe with them. So go out. And I know, some of us, I live in Las Vegas, so lots of places to go out, lots of places to meet, right? But I am from Los Angeles and it's different, right? Everywhere where you go is different. So also think about that. Maybe if you can go one city over to go to an event, to go to a function, to go to a museum, because maybe your city's not the city for you. But there's also things is like, okay, what is it that I can do with myself? Because I'm retired Navy. I was in the Navy for 20 years. So I've been all over the place, right? And every place dating, there's a different vibe. Like when I was in Kansas, absolutely nobody liked me. And nobody talked to me in Kansas. Kansas, very dry. I was out at the clubs, everything. No action in Kansas. And I was young then. I was in my early 30s and nobody was talking to me. Now, it's completely different. Like the places that worked well for me dating was Miami, Texas, California. And here I will say in Nevada, and of course overseas, but Italy, all that's going to be that'll be a different video. But I can say even here, like this is my natural hair, right? Now in California, I go out, have my natural hair, men approach me, give me compliments on my natural hair, being in this state. Now, I will say when I go out in Vegas with my nobody talks to me. Now, if I have my hair flat ironed or people will talk to me. If I have a wig on, of course, people are going to talk to me. Also, too, I noticed everybody here likes nails. So in California, nails weren't necessarily a thing, but I do notice out here the men like nails. And they also like a little more makeup and than they do in California. Now, I like wearing makeup and I like getting dressed. So I know if I'm going to go on a man hunt, I'm going to have my hair a certain way. I'm going to have my makeup done. I'm going to have my nails on if I'm on a man hunt, right? Otherwise, I'll just have my hair like this or however, maybe nails, maybe not, and go. So think about that, because I have, friends and people who were out here and they weren't going out. And I was like, hey, maybe if you just spice up a couple little things, or you don't have to change your whole personality, but maybe, change a couple little things about the way you dress. Because even in Texas, when I was in Texas, I felt like the men out there like maybe a little more meat on your bones than, say, the men in California. So it's different. So also feel that vibe, right? And you hear all these crazy people on the internet. We don't know these people, right? So why are you listening to people you don't know? And they will say, oh, no man wants anybody over 25. No one wants anybody over this or over that. Don't listen to those people. Most of those people are single or dating other men. So you have nothing to do with them. You don't know them. That's not the majority of people out there. And we also forget, it's like, okay, yeah, back when you were in your 20s, yeah, a whole bunch of men may come up, right? And 100 men may talk to you, but 75 of them are married, are they're dating your girlfriend. 15 of them are possibly serial killers. Out of the last 10 you have left, 7 of them are ugly. So there's only maybe 3 you'd even talk to, right? So now, hey, you might not get the 100 to come talk to you, but you'll get the 5, and they're much better. You don't have to weed all those things out. I noticed, I would say, once I hit about 45, 46, it was like a switch, because all of a sudden things that no men really appreciated about me that I thought was so special, that, I always had a nice apartment, kept a clean house, knew how to cook, traveled, had education, all of that. Absolutely no one cared. Oh, and I was a nice person. Nobody cared, right? They certainly didn't care when I was in my 20s. No one cared. I could have been living in a shopping cart, because all they cared about is what you look like, right? They don't care about anything else. When I was in my 30s, I think a lot of us are 30s. I will tell, my younger friends and people that I know, and just women in general, because when I was in my 30s, nobody told me this. I didn't have any older women to explain this to me. It is definitely the toughest time, right? Because the expectation is in your 30s, even maybe if you don't want children, but I feel like a lot of it is just biological, where everything feels so much pressure, right? There's so much pressure to find the father of your children, to get married, to have the perfect career, to have everything. And that is a lot to put on yourself. So those expectations that you have in dating, that's pretty hard. Like, you just met somebody and you're sizing them up. Can this be the father of my children? Or he be a good grandfather, right? That's a lot to live up to. But most of us in our 50s, we definitely don't have to worry about that, right? So change your expectations, right? Because my expectation now is just to go out, get dressed up, have a good time, talk to somebody, learn something about them, tell them things about me, maybe get introduced to someplace I've never been, and just have a nice, polite, fun time. And so far, that's been happening. It's been much, much easier. It's much easier finding somebody. Also, too, what I was going to say, the things that once I got over 45, that I had been all my life, no man had ever appreciated it, even made a comment about it. But after a while, like everybody's like, oh, wow, this is somebody who's good with their money. This is somebody who keeps a house. This is somebody who's responsible. This is somebody who's just a genuine good person, who has friends, who's respectful, who has manners. It's crazy how you like, I was this way my whole life and y'all just now noticing. But they do. And I think that makes dating just so much sweeter, because now you can come and you're just authentic. You can see them for the authentic person they are, because you're not expecting this person to make all your dreams come true, do all this, because hopefully, most of us, by the time you're in your 50s, you've already accomplished a lot. You've already made a lot of your own dreams come true. So now when somebody comes into you, it's more of, what do we have to offer each other? Not what can I take from you and what can you take from me? I'm at the point, I'm retired from the Navy, so I don't have to worry now about somebody coming to my job acting a fool, or somebody in the military doing something crazy that I'm dating and embarrass me in front of the whole United States military and possibly a foreign military too. We don't have to worry about that. Let me see. Also too, we know now, and we all should know, nobody else is responsible for our happiness, right? We're not responsible for somebody else's happiness, and they're not responsible for ours. Don't go out with that expectation of, okay, I have to meet this person. This person's going to make everything perfect. This is somebody I guess I'll have to grow old and be on a boat with, right? We don't need that. You've got yourself. That's all you need. Don't be searching for somebody to grow old with and be out on a boat, because if you think about that, that sounds terrible, right? Because we may possibly live to be 100 years old. I don't want to be out on a boat with any one man for the next 50 years. I want to be traveling or hanging out with my friends, hanging out with my friends' children, seeing people's grandkids growing up, starting new careers, things like that. And that's what you have to go to in with this expectation. It's like you go out on a date. If it works, great. If maybe you don't have the chemistry and it doesn't work, that's fine too, because now you're going to go home. I got a nice house to come home to, nice bottle of champagne in the fridge, and I know everything's going to be all right. Now, as far as where to go and meet somebody, like I said, I do live, in a big city, but if you don't, go someplace else, right? Nothing wrong with going someplace else. It's much easier nowadays for us to keep in touch with each other than it was back in the day. Now, I have had very good luck. I go to the grocery store, and when I do go to the grocery store, a lot of times I go looking cute. So I've had good luck at the grocery store. I've had good luck at different types of meetups. Even I went to an intelligent singles speed dating meetup. That worked out well. Make sure you go dressed and make sure you go with a good attitude. So that worked out well for me. And lounges and restaurants, I met people. Also too, I've done events, like I'll go to wine tastings or something like that, like I like. And I haven't met, like, some of these events, no, I haven't met anybody at that event, but I met a friend who invited me to another event, or some girlfriends to go out to restaurants and stuff with, and then we go out, end up meeting somebody else or somebody from some other person's crew. So don't, hey, still, sometimes people try to talk to me at the gas station. I did have somebody, he was kind of cute too. He owns his own restaurant at the gas station, okay? So just always be ready. Stay off the maps, and know you are a great catch, right? Love and being a good person does not have an expiration date. Okay? And you are always going to be beautiful to somebody. Because look at the TV shows that we watch with people like, say, My 600-Pound Life, who maybe would not be necessarily considered, conventionally Halle Berry attractive or Zendaya attractive, but they still have somebody, right? Because whoever you are, whatever you look like, there is somebody, not even somebody, probably hundreds of thousands of people that will like you just for who you are. All that matters is make sure we like ourselves for who we are, okay? And appreciate yourself. Appreciate yourself for the wins and appreciate yourself for getting through the losses. Thank you for watching, and remember, life is too short to not be loving on yourself every day. Bye-bye.